What's up guys, Americana back here with another video. If Bitcoin loses this one level, it is not a dip, it is the start of a bear market, and it's sitting right at $100,000. That's where two critical supports line up, the 50-week moving average and the $98,000 structural floor. Let me show you why we don't want to lose these levels and what happens if we do. Let's get into the video. All right, guys, let's get into it. I have another video this week about the fact that we could be potentially finding a bottom already. So this video is a little bit different from that. We're not going to be discussing potential cases for a bottom being in this video, but we're going to talk about the downside risk. If the bottom is not in, if we are not finding a bottom here, and we do need another move lower in the market, what do I want to see hold? What do I want to see happen to signal that, hey, this bull market is still here, it's still alive, and it's still well? So that's what we're going to be discussing in this video. And it's two things: the 50-week moving average and the $98,000 level. Both a weekly close below either one of those levels would be a strong sign to me that something structurally or something structural is changing within the market. And at that time, I'd probably hop back on here with a game plan of what I'm doing at that time. That's not information I'm ever going to gatekeep. I'm never going to get on here and tell you guys my exact system and, the best way to make 40, 50x in one cycle. But when it comes to protecting you guys, when it comes to you guys taking profits on whatever coins you already hold, or when it comes to getting out of the market because I think the bear market could potentially be here, I'm always going to share what I'm doing and what I'm looking for in those cases, because I do want you guys to protect yourself. I don't think a 70% haircut to anybody's net worth is worth me withholding information so I can posture as some like, oh no, you have to do X, Y, and Z to be a client for me or to get information out of me. It's just not something that I'm interested in doing. So with that all being framed up, let's talk about what we're looking for. I have this on a 3-day chart just so it's a little bit easier to digest, and I can go over this kind of entire cycle and recent examples of us getting back down to this 50-week moving average. But keep in mind that we're discussing a weekly close below this level, and also keep in mind this isn't a 50 period moving average of a 3-day chart. I have it set to the weekly chart, so it is a 50-week moving average nonetheless, right? But you've seen each time we've tapped this level, we've held and we have moved on from it. I kind of blank there, but like I said, each time we've tapped it this cycle, we've held and move on from it. Closing below, we'll discuss in here what that means, but for simple terms, you can see why it's important to hold. For the information I'll show you here, you can see if we had closed below at any point in time, likely would have been very, very difficult to not say we're in a bear market. So right now this level sits at right about 107. It's going to continue to rise as price is above it. So each day that goes by, this 50-week moving average is going to increase. So that's good when it comes to like protecting us against downside. But also it makes it, that key level that we don't want to see close underneath gets higher and higher and higher. So if we do move sideways and then just get like a little 2% dip, is that enough to kind of have the bear market on set in? And that kind of becomes an issue. But the other thing I'm looking at is the 98K level. Okay, we talk about this all the time. Don't overcomplicate this crypto stuff. All right, do not overcomplicate it. All you want ever is to see key levels to hold. I don't think I can go. Yeah, we can go back all the way in here. This bear market gave us a good example. We have our levels in here, right? Even on a COVID backtest, you want to see these levels hold. You want to see these things hold as you go through it. And I guess the better examples actually probably were from this bear market. So let me just show you again right here, right? Example, key level holding. Okay, you just want to see these levels hold and nothing close underneath. Same kind of thing here. And it's a common thing that you see every single bull market. So what is the level we're currently at right now? If we were being honest, it's probably somewhere right in there, which on the 3-day and on the daily we have closed below. But really getting nitpicky, there's a little bit of a dynamic here that I want to discuss. This was one of the levels we pointed to. for being able to hold and close above. And then I want to point to this little consolidation period in here. It is very similar to this period in here. This one happens to come in, well beneath this little previous high, while this one kind of comes in at and on this previous high. All right, so it's a little bit nuanced. Typically, we wouldn't be closing below these levels in here, but when they happen above the kind of support that we want to see hold, it does make sense to close underneath those. And then even on this, right, I'm willing to kind of treat it like this and use these body closes, which if we're using those, we've seen this level actually hold up pretty nicely thus far. But this 98K level, okay, this is when I start considering the fact that we've had higher lows all throughout here. And if we start closing below, we run the risk of lower lows and lower highs. So you guys can see how this trend can somewhat change on a dime. If we start closing below and retesting, this thing becomes an issue relatively quickly. The same dynamic that caused us to have price appreciate ends up hurting us just in the opposite direction. So that is why the 98K level is key, because I see it as what would be our first lower low of the cycle, or key lower low of the cycle, right? And we're talking about ranges in here. If this is my key low that I want to see hold, I'm not worried about lows getting taken out in here because I have the understanding that it's likely heading back to that area. So just pointing out the differences and nuances in there as to why $98,000 is key. Now let's look at the weekly moving average. You have seen each time, right? All of these red candles are pointing to the first weekly close below, and the percentage drawdown from there is taken from the bottom or the close of that first weekly candle outside of the 500 or the 50-week moving average. You can see kind of better on here that we have, when we retested, we have done a good job closing above. All right, but 57% pull down from the close below in 2017 and 66% pull down from the close below in 2020. Also at the same time, keep in mind means you are in a bear market where altcoins are getting decimated, Bitcoin dominance is on the rise, things like that, right? And you're going to be there for a while as shown here. So really do not want to close below that 50-week moving average, but for now, totally fine. We also have the confluence of $98,000. Okay, so if we close below the 50-week moving average, probably not instantly selling everything, probably going to wait, things like that. But if the next week kind of confirms, and that's if $98,000 still holds, but if the next week confirms lower and $98,000 breaks, I'd probably be saying here some sort of bear market at that point in time. So let's not lose these levels. I will do my part. Not really. I'm already allocated, guys. I can't help. But yeah, everybody do their part. Everybody let's go buy some Bitcoin this week or something. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Areas we want to see hold, why we want to see them hold, and then also the structural importance of $98,000, not letting a lower low come in the market. Okay, would not be good, especially closing below the 50-week and especially that $98,000 level. But that is it, right? Hopefully you guys check out my other videos this week. I do think there is alive and well the full possibility that we are finding a bottom, or at least we're in an area where we could be finding a bottom already. If we do need to roll over, like I mentioned, these are the levels that I want to see hold. But let's pray it doesn't even come to that. We can find a bottom in here, start working back up, and yeah. Other videos this week showing you a bunch of different things, variety of things, why the bear market isn't in, some positive stuff that I'm seeing in the macro, and then videos like this for key levels to watch, just because we're kind of at a point in this market, right? Bitcoin has 5-6x from bear market lows. Yes, we haven't got the altcoin market dynamic that we want to see, but I'm not ignorant to the fact that crazier things have happened in this market. I think we can avoid all of that crazy stuff of not getting the cycle that we wanted and not seeing the expansion that we wanted and Bitcoin's top already being in, simply by holding these two levels that we talked about on this chart. So things can go both ways. I have videos last week about incoming volatility and things like that. And in those, I mentioned, hey, we don't know which way this is going to go. This is going to mean a 40% pump to the upside in Bitcoin or a 40% pump to the downside. And, closing below these levels could signify which direction that might go. And holding above is going to signify which direction that might go. So we're at somewhat of a crossroads in the market. We're seeing things. Well, really, we're only seeing things in the macro that point to we're still in a bull market, but we always have to respect price for what it is and price structures and things like that. So that is why we have these triggers outlined in the videos the last 2 weeks. So I wanted to come on here and kind of push this again. But that's it for this video. Let me know if you guys have questions. As always, appreciate the support, the likes, the comments, the subscribes. Make sure you guys keep reaching out. Let me know if you have questions. I'll always get back to you, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.